Hey everyone, we're seeing some really bullish action in the stock market as well as some altcoins, in particular Chainlink, as well as a handful of others like Ethereum. What does that mean for EOS? Well, we're going to take a look at that today. I have these charts posted in the description below, so check out those links if you are curious. But this is the 30-minute linear chart for EOS up close. And ever since our crash bottom on May 12th, well, it's been looking a little bit like a triangle. Maybe if you are all about traditional TA, you could even count a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could be a triangle. If that's the case, that could mean we have lower to go. It's an interpretation that I'm not really putting much weight into because I'd rather see it as one of two possibilities. Either we have our 5-wave rally up already, which is marked in teal, blue, whatever you want to call that color, with a 3-wave correction. And that is pretty fitting. You have an A, B, C for our A wave. Our A wave of the second wave, and A, B, C for the B wave. Again, these are not notated here in blue, and the bottom of the C wave would be the 2. So that whole thing would be a correction, and we may have a nested 1-2 setup in place. This is what was getting me excited over the past few weeks, in which we do have a nested 1-2-1-2 setup. There's really no way to interpret it strongly as bearish, even though I do have an alternate pattern here that's in red, which is shared with basically all the other coins, in which this peak here is an A wave with a B wave bottom. Actually, the B wave will be down here with our C wave top being up here. So a B wave and a C wave, although the C wave is a bit truncated. So I'm not convinced that that's what it is, but must have an alternate pattern. As I've been mentioning, if our blue pattern breaks, you must have an alternate. I know it angers some of us about, I guess, a lot of traditional TA people. If your primary pattern breaks, you better have an alternate explanation for what's happening. That is why this is not going to come off my chart. Now, if the blue bullish pattern does break, obviously we'll have another alternate pattern to back up the red pattern if that becomes primary. So why do I think the red pattern may become primary? Well, I mentioned we do have possibly an ABC up, and you could count to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could be a first wave rally. The other interpretation that this is actually a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we could actually have a nested 1-2, 1-2 setup, and that would mean the nomenclature would put the 1 here and the 2 up here, and then where we have the existing 1-2, these would be a lower degree 1-2. So that could be a nested downside setup. That is a possibility. I'm not going to ignore that. And if I build my Fibonacci sequence based on the bigger 1-2, which again I don't have notated clearly, that takes us down to a little bit lower than where we hit. Our official bottom for EOS on May 12th was about $1.05, so that was well below our 128 major support. So there's a chance we go back down to the lower 90-cent range, and if that happens, it would be a spike down. That's what the corrections generally look like, especially a fifth wave. We've seen that numerous times in the stock market over the past several months, in which we have a final spike down to scare your pants off, and then we see a violent reversal the other way. Otherwise, the bullish interpretation, again, is that we have a nested 1-2-1-2 setup. How could I possibly be bullish when all this lower low possibility is looming? Well, this is what bottoms are like. Oftentimes, your start to a rally doesn't look particularly clean or confidence inspiring. That's what makes it risky to get in, and that's why these are called risk assets. So if you're looking to get in, let's see if we can finish a bigger impulsive wave. So you have your 1-2. You should see a smaller impulse complete to the top of the third wave. That could take us between $1.74 and $1.84, with the final fifth wave top taking us between $1.90 and just under $2. Once that happens, expect a second wave to bring us back to about where the major fourth is. So maybe in the 150 range, something like that. If that's a corrective zigzag pullback, that would be your chance to get in if you're looking for a higher confidence place to start buying, if you haven't bought yet, or if you're looking to increase your position size. So I'll be tracking that. And that would also much more strongly confirm that we have a bottom in place. Now, shifting over to the big picture, I haven't really changed anything here yet. We haven't really broken any supports. I know last week I did make a change to the big picture chart, again, to the behest of some of my viewers, that this is actually a third wave top. If you've been following my other coins, in a lot of the older coins that have been around longer, this is absolutely a third wave top, and it is also a third wave top in the stock market. I believe I went over the Dow in our State of the Cryptos update, and well, that was the interpretation, that this was actually a third wave in, a bigger picture third wave on the big picture chart. This is, again, the daily logarithmic chart. So our third wave top was officially January, February of 2018, with a grueling correction that lasted almost 2 years, and cryptos ran a little bit ahead of it. We didn't see as much blood and guts in the stock market as we did in cryptos, but that was an epic blow off top. I've been demonstrating that using the dash chart because it's a bit more clean. There's less clutter that I put on there. And clearly that is in end of December. So again, it was maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 months ahead of where the stock market was, but we had a much more obvious correction all the way into the March of 2020, everything crashed. So that is why in EOS, there is a very good chance that, well, the underlying sentiment pattern will mimic or at least resemble that of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the stock market in general. So if that's the case, that means we have just finished what is likely a fourth wave bottom, especially because we have a lower low. So there's no way that this is a 1-2 setup. So if I expand this thing out a little bit, this entire crash into the March of 2020, everything crash is an A wave. That's my primary account. The whole rally to the in the spring of 2021, that is a B wave top. And we are completing, as in we are close to completing or have already completed our final C wave drop. We got the slightly lower low. We're not finished. I mean, we're not totally out of the woods. We may see a little lower than that. It's possible. I think I actually did the Fibonacci extensions based on this on our last update, but I'm going to do it again just to give you an idea of where we could go if we do have continued downside. If I build a Fibonacci up to there, 85 cents would be a likely bottom. That is the 1-to-1 ratio between the A wave and the C wave, which is the most common equivalence for big corrective structure. So not too far off the target that we have here. I think I have 90 cents as a bottom, and of course, logarithmic chart does calculate a little bit differently. If that does happen, it would be a spike crash and a furious bounce. That's what we saw here, in which we hit about $1.24. And well, we're back in business in 2 months, back to $3.27. So again, this is bottoming behavior. The MACD also demonstrates the same thing. There's still a divergence there. It hasn't broken yet, even though we've stretched a little bit further down. It's still very much there. So what do we expect? Well, like with the other cryptos, we are either, well, not we are either. We have probably one more rally left. I know I had this interpreted as a third wave, but more likely if we are following the green pattern, that means we are close to a fourth wave bottom and we have one more rally to go. In Dash, it would very likely be an impulse or a diagonal kind of pattern. In Bitcoin, same kind of thing. Some of the other coins could have more of a three-wave structure, but this is the Bitcoin chart. Have a clean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure projected with a lot of confluence in the box overhead. Ethereum's chart is arguably even cleaner than that. Same kind of thing. We expect one more 5-wave structure, whether it's an impulse or an diagonal to form, to manifest within this coin. With EOS, may or may not be impulsive. Again, we do have some precedent for an impulsive structure. We don't know what the bottom of this thing looked like. So this was just purely a projection based on the 3 and the 4. If we do have a top, expect it to clear the top that we had in 2018, 2017. Now, there is a chance we have what we call a truncated top, in which our 5th wave doesn't go any higher than the 3rd wave. Sometimes your 5th wave comes up a bit short, and we'd be more confident in that happening in EOS because obviously we'd be watching the rest of the markets, the stocks, commodities, bonds, and other cryptos. So if it looks like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the other altcoins are approaching their tops and EOS is behind, again, just a pure hypothetical, that could indicate a truncated top. Although the more likely scenario is that we're so oversold, we're so deep down here that EOS may have a furious catch-up rally. So the upside structure, I'm going to assume, is going to be an impulsive structure up, just because to get into this target box up here, very likely we would need to see an impulsive structure. So a first wave, very likely will get up to about where we were end of March in the spring. That's around $3, $3.27, something like that. If we get a clean 5-wave structure up there and the 3-wave pullback back, that would be fantastic news for a for a longer term purchase. I know this impulse wave on the linear chart shows that we'll only go up to $2, but things can get stretched. We've actually seen a lot of hyper extensions in the stock market, which I've been going over and referring to briefly here and there. But we've had a non-standard 3rd wave that's gone much higher than expected. So we're exceeding some Fibonacci's there. We may see the same kind of thing in our 5th wave, which we're still awaiting. Very likely we are in a 4th wave consolidation. So we're not out of the woods in the stock market either. We only have 3 waves up so far. The same applies to the Dow and the Russell 2000 and the NASDAQ, all of them. And so basically we're kind of in that same holding pattern. 4th waves take a while. They're grueling. They take a while to finish. And we may be in the same boat there. Once that happens, we should have very powerful action directly into this green-blue box. I know I had the fib built out here, but that could take us to $10+, pretty close to the 2021 high. And a small consolidation would be our penultimate correction before the final blow off top. That would be the euphoric top. And well, you'd have a lot of signs of topping behavior if you're looking around, not just in EOS, but everything else. So I'm going to have plenty more updates. We still have a lot of, we need to see a lot of action first. We need to see an impulse, clear bottom. We need to turn up really quick because this looks like we just had a big spike down in the cryptos. I know Ethereum was past $2,000 a few minutes ago. Now it's down well below it. So going to have more updates on the way. And in case I don't put out an EOS update, check out my State of the Cryptos series. That's in the playlist. That's the thumbnail with all the different crypto symbols on there. I touch on most of the coins, and because all the coins follow the same sentiment patterns, you'll get a good idea, high level of what we're looking at. Whatever I talk about, especially when I focus on Bitcoin and Dash, that'll apply to EOS as well, most likely. So if you enjoyed my video, don't forget to give me a like. Till next time, thank you for watching and happy trading.